Don't skip. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. There are days when time feels heavy, stretched thin by anxieties that do not belong to us. We carry the weight of disappointments, our own and those borrowed from others. Perhaps you know the feeling. Waking up tired, haunted by the things you haven't achieved or lost in the noise of other people's lives. You scroll, you watch, you compare. Every moment spent worrying about someone else's path is a moment taken from your own. But the truth is simple, even if not always easy to accept. Your time is your most precious asset. 24 hours. That's all you get every day, a small priceless fortune. How you spend those hours determines who you become. The Stoics remind us that peace is not found by trying to control everything outside us, but by learning to master our own thoughts and responses. You cannot change the world, but you can change how you meet it. This is not about indifference, but about courage, about daring to turn inward to focus on what you can truly build yourself. Ahead, I'll share 5 Stoic principles that can help you reclaim your time and your life starting from within. Embracing progress over perfection. Principle number 1, embracing progress over perfection. You've been here before. The screen glows in the half dark. A long list of unfinished work blinks back. Maybe it's midnight. Maybe it's early morning. The world is quiet, but your mind isn't. Somewhere inside, a voice whispers, "You should have done better." This isn't enough. You're not enough. The pressure isn't loud, it's quiet, like the steady drip of a leaking faucet, wearing you down one drop at a time. This is the trap of perfection. It's not just about wanting good work or high standards. It's about chasing a moving target you never set for yourself, but somehow ended up pursuing, often without realizing it. Perfection is a thief. It steals your present moment. It makes you believe that only flawless results matter, that every mistake is a verdict on your worth. And so you freeze. You hesitate to start something new because what if it isn't perfect? You keep polishing what's already there, hoping to erase every flaw. But the flaws never really go away. The cycle repeats. Most people don't talk about this. They keep it beneath the surface, letting it gnaw quietly at confidence and joy. You look around and assume everyone else has it together, that their lives are a series of neat lines and sharp decisions, that they move from win to win. The truth is, nearly everyone is fighting the same private war against not enough. So what if the real problem isn't the unfinished work or the missed target or what someone else thinks of you? What if the real trap is the way you measure yourself in the first place? Is it possible you've spent years living on other people's scales, grading yourself against expectations you never truly agreed with? Pause here for a moment. Ask yourself, who set the standards I'm chasing? What's the worst that would happen if I simply allowed myself to make progress one honest step at a time? These aren't questions for someone else to answer. They're for you quietly, with no audience, no judgment. Let's break this down. The most common belief is that you're supposed to get it right every time, all the time. That you're only as good as your last result. You carry that into meetings, relationships, even the gym. It's a lie, but it's persuasive because the world rewards perfect moments and hides the mess behind them. It's easy to forget. Everyone struggles. No one has a clean track record, not even those you admire most. There's a mechanism at work here, deep in the mind. When you link your worth to flawless outcomes, every slip feels fatal. You become afraid to try, to risk, to grow. The event, a mistake, a missed mark, a harsh comment from a boss or partner doesn't actually cause pain. The pain comes from the story you tell yourself afterward. I failed, so I am a failure. Stoicism calls this out. Suffering is not from the event, but from your own interpretation. That space between what happens and how you explain it is where your freedom lives. What do you usually do with negative thoughts? For most, the reflex is to drown them out, argue back, or numb them with distraction. But there's another way. Let there be a pause. Not suppression, not avoidance. Just a clear moment where you see the thought. Label it for what it is, an opinion, not a fact, and let it pass. In that pause, strength is rebuilt. Silence in the face of criticism, whether from others or yourself, is not weakness. It's not a defeat. It's a deliberate act of will. Refusing to react, refusing to explain, refusing to hand over your peace to anyone or anything outside of yourself. Marcus Aurelius sat in council rooms with men ready to betray him and wrote about stillness, not as surrender, but as self-possession. Negative inner dialogue is the hardest to face. I'm not enough. I'll never measure up. What's the point of trying if it won't be perfect? These are the old scripts written by fear and comparison. You can't reason them away with logic alone. What you can do is begin to replace them with something truer. I can learn. I can improve. I am more than this moment. Each time you catch yourself in the loop, choose a different sentence, one rooted in self-respect. There's power in letting go of the past too. Maybe you're carrying failures or regrets from a year ago or 10 years ago. Maybe you're angry at yourself for something you said or something you didn't do. The Stoics did not dwell on the unchangeable. They saw forgiveness of others and themselves as an act of freedom. When you let go, you're not erasing the past. You're freeing up space for something new to grow. So surround yourself with people who believe in process, not perfection. Pick up small habits that lift you not only in your strong moments, but in your weakest ones. Gratitude isn't just a buzzword, it's a discipline. Noticing the smallest bit of progress, acknowledging it, and letting that be enough for today. If you can only take one positive action, let it be that. In the end, discipline and patience are what set the path. No success is instant. It's built quietly in late nights and early mornings, in 1,000 unremarkable steps. Perfection never comes. Progress is always possible. When you value every small gain, time is no longer wasted. You see yourself clearly not as you wish to be, but as you truly are becoming, and that is enough. Step by step, the thing is done. Resilience through self-focus. Principle number 2, resilience through self-focus. Resilience is a fascinating aspect of life. In short, well, there is no in short. Understanding resilience is a full-time job for some mental health professionals and researchers. But for most people, resilience shows up in quieter, lonelier places. In the early morning, when you drag yourself out of bed after a tough night. In the silence after a phone call brings bad news. In the heavy air of an office after a project fails. Resilience doesn't announce itself. It isn't glamorous. It sits there, a small voice reminding you to breathe, to get up, to try again. Let's start with a simple, often overlooked truth. The pursuit of perfection is seductive, but it rarely leads anywhere but disappointment and exhaustion. Most people I've met, maybe you're among them, grew up equating strength with flawless performance. You learn to win, to achieve, to measure your worth in trophies or job titles, or the steady accumulation of praise. But then one day, you realize that perfection is a finish line that keeps moving just out of reach. You work late, polish every detail, and redo the work until you're too tired to see straight. The project ships, the results come in, And still a small voice asks, "Is this good enough?" That voice isn't really asking about the work. It's asking about you, about whether you are enough, about whether your effort matters. And when you listen too closely to that voice, life gets smaller. Each mistake feels catastrophic. Each shortcoming becomes proof you're failing at something fundamental. You start to hesitate. You avoid taking risks, avoiding new experiences because the fear of imperfection outweighs the promise of progress. But what if the true measure of strength isn't in avoiding mistakes, but in learning from them? What if resilience isn't about appearing unbreakable, but about the willingness to keep showing up even when you're uncertain or afraid? I've often found the hard way that resilience is built not in moments of grand triumph, but in the patient, persistent act of moving forward. Not leaping, just stepping. Progress, not perfection. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The Stoics didn't treat failure as shameful. Instead, failure was an essential ingredient in the recipe of growth. Each mistake, each setback, each unexpected turn, these were tools for sharpening the mind and spirit. The true loss wasn't in the falling down, but in refusing to get up. Adaptability becomes your ally. Life rarely sticks to our original scripts. Projects fall apart. Plans get interrupted. Relationships shift. When you see progress, not perfection, as the goal, you become more willing to adjust your strategy. When the facts change, you stop being rigid. You stop demanding that life fits your plan, and you start working with reality as it is. That flexibility is the essence of resilience. You might wonder, if I give up perfection, won't I get lazy? But it rarely works that way. Instead, you start to channel your energy into what matters most. You focus on steady improvement, not unattainable ideals. And when feedback comes, whether it's a tough conversation at work or an honest word from a friend, you use it as a compass, not as a hammer.